Well, this is the hand pollination for the Cherimoya. Well, first you need some kind of device or some kind of cup to collect the pollen. What I did is I just take a piece of paper, fold it like a cup, so you can collect it. A brush, any ordinary brush. Make sure it's strong enough to hold the pollen and to pollinate. Well, the flower. I don't have any more flower left in my tree, but I did have only a few left. And this is if you look at it closely, this is a male flower. Well, before a male flower, it was a female flower. And if you miss to pollinate the female stage, then it's become a male flower. Now what you do is at this stage you collect the pollen. So what you do is you just get a cup, and just brush it off the pollen off the flower, and the pollen is very fine grained. You can't really see it, but you can see if you just brush it up, everything that have the anther and the pollen all together, they all mix in there. So I collect yesterday some, and you can see I put in the refrigerator overnight, just to save it, and you can always use it the next day to pollinate the flower. Well, here it is. This is the female flower. That's when it's a perfect stage to pollinate. And the reason why, if you leave it for nature, bee can get into it. Nothing can get inside. It's just too small. You look at it. It's just too small of an opening for anything to get inside. And you count on a bee. You might have to. You might not get much fruit at all. If you look at on this side, another female flower, but that one is not ready yet. It's not opening, and you cannot pollinate when it's not ready. And this is a younger one, and you cannot do much about that one either. So let's demonstrate how you pollinate this flower by hand pollination. Hand pollination with this technique, I've been doing it this is my first year doing it, and I have to say that I get 90 or above all the flower I pollinate, it become fruit. And the trick is when this flower turn to, after you pollinate it, after 2 or 3 days, it turn to a male stage. What you do is instead of plucking off the flower, hold up a cup like this. You hold up like that under the flower, and just collecting the pollen, and leave the flower there, because that flower is already pollinated, and you will get fruit. Just for demonstrate, I pluck it off, but usually I don't. And I'll talk more about this later. So let's show you how to pollinate that female flower. So you get a brush, just dip in there the pollen that I collect earlier, and you see it stick to the brush. And what you do is I hold the cup under the flower, because a lot of them drop back right down, so I don't, you want to make sure you don't lose much of it. There's another device I saw using a pump, by pumping it, but I don't know where to find those. Anyway, gently open the flower, and you see that little ovary. You see that little flower ovary, and what you do is you stick your brush right in there. What you do, you hold the flower and you pull it out, pull your brush out, and you can see there's some right there. Let's see. See, I can zoom. You see there, pollen, I just put it right there. So what you need to do is you gotta push it in, up one or two, and that's pretty much it. That's how you do cell pollination. But what you can do now is how do you remember what flower you pollinate. Some people, they break a petal, break one of these guys, and say, yeah, you know, that one I did. For me, I don't want to. For me, all you can do the other way is just use your fingernail and kind of draw a line on one of the flowers like that. And give it about 5 minutes to turn black. It turn kind of brown, and you know that you mark the flower that you did pollinate it. Okay, that's pretty much hand pollination. Open up the flower on the side, slide slowly. Stick the brush inside, like that. Hold the flower, pull the brush out, and push it in. And that's it. That's how you pollinate. Very simple. But for those who doesn't have the time to do the hand pollination, it will take too much time to do it, and it requires a lot of work. Not a lot of work, but you know, if you love doing gardening, this is the best way of doing it. But if for any of those you guys out there doesn't have the time to do it, if you look at this fruit yesterday, this flower yesterday, I'm sorry, you see that little fly right there? And yesterday there was more because this is already mature, kind of mature female flowers. And yesterday, when the nectar come out from the flower, it's really fragrant, really sweet. You can smell it. And what it does, there were a couple of fruit flies running around and went inside, and the fruit fly can make it inside there. And well, every time they're there, they pollinate it. So technically that is by nature, but what the chance of having those guys doing all this work for you, right? One is just to go to the Home Depot, bought some of that fruit fly, and they're like very tiny. They're like 3 times bigger than an ant, pretty much it, and they can hang on your tree. But it's only lasts for a couple of weeks, and the fruit fly probably gone or dead and disappear. But if you do what I do, this is the best way of doing it. If you have, for those who doesn't have the time to do self-pollination and love the Cherimoya, but you know, or hand pollination didn't work for you, here it is. I don't know if you noticed, but look at that bucket. I hang on one of my tree. And what you do is you buy some of the fruit flower, or some of the fruit fly, and then you just have to get some of the apple, throw on the ground, let it ripe really bad, not put in the bucket. What it does is the fruit fly will live in there. They're not just live in there, but they also multiply. And there are so many of them. I mean, every single flower, when it's bloom, there's a fruit flies in there. And let me see if I can get a shot of that guy. There he is. He's about as big as that. And he do the job for you, but don't count him. Not every single fruit fly get inside the flower and you get fruit. Because sometimes the flower, the female flower, when it's open, only on top of the ovary surface is starts to produce some nectar or some kind of sweet fragrance to attract this guy. What happened is this guy come in and just take the nectar and go away. But the thing is, the pollen have not developed yet. the pollen of the flower only develop when it's at a male stage. But sometimes the fruit fly hanging there long enough, they can actually pollinate for you. So but for me, I noticed that what happened, and to try that technique. If you feel that it doesn't work for you with the hand pollination, that is the best way of doing it. And you get around, I say, if your tree is bloomed correctly and go by the nature, you should get more than 30 fruit on each tree easily by using that method. But if hand pollination, for sure, almost 90% of the time, you pollinate with your hand, you get a fruit every single time. Never fail. None of the flower I pollinate fall off the branch. It becomes fruit, every single one of them. What you need to do is, you see those two, you see some of the fruit fly walking back and forth in the flower. That is a female flower, and this guy actually do the work for you. But not all the flower is been done pollinated by this guy. How do you get this guy here? Very simple. What you need to do is get a couple of ripe apple and put in a bucket, hang it on to a tree, and you start to accumulate a lot of this guy. And you can see they start doing the work of pollinating the flower. Now I have about four Cherimoya trees. This one is from seedling. I ate the fruit, loved the fruit, and I still grow it and it'll grow. This is a 2 years old tree. It's the first time I have flower, and every single flower I self-pollinated or become fruit. There's so many fruit. It's too small to really kind of see it. But maybe later on I can give you more information on next video and see how big the fruit can get. So you look at this tree, the same thing. Not too big. Got so much fruit on it as well. All hand pollination. And this one is the youngest one. This one is about a year and a half. I guess the way how I fertilize it, using organic fertilizer, feed 3 times a year, consistently feeding, and it just shoot up, and every flower is half. There's a fruit. This guy I grafted 2 years ago. So technically this tree is about 3 years old. Last year it had about at least 200 flowers. And I didn't know how to do hand pollination, or I didn't know I need to do hand pollination. And I didn't get any. Well, I get around 3 fruit. Wasn't a great thing. It was pretty bad. I was hoping I get more, but I guess not. But this year, after hand pollination, you can see every branch is at least 5 or 6 fruit. And I'd love to update you the next video. So as soon as this fruit get a little bit more mature and you can see more, I will make another video. But for now, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you guys. Have a great summer.